They called it the Cold War. But beneath that icy surface, a silent, vicious war raged in the shadows. There were no soldiers in trenches, no tanks rolling across borders. Only whispers, coded messages, and secrets traded for blood. This is the untold story of the shadow conflict, the hidden war between America's CIA and the Soviet Union's KGB. It was a war fought with deception, double agents, and disinformation, where truth itself became the most dangerous weapon of all. And for nearly half a century, no one was truly safe. When World War II finally ended in 1945, two superpowers rose from the ashes, the United States and the Soviet Union. Both nations dreamed of reshaping the world, but in completely opposite ways. In the West, America promised freedom and democracy. In the East, the USSR promised equality and revolution, but promises were never going to be enough. Each side needed eyes and ears, everywhere. The CIA was born in 1947, sleek, modern, and shrouded in secrecy. The KGB was officially formed soon after in 1954. It was ruthless, disciplined, and fanatically loyal to the Soviet cause. And just like that, the War of Spies began. The Cold War turned Europe into a giant, deadly chessboard. And at its very center was Berlin, a city divided not just by walls, but by loyalty. Here, CIA operatives and KGB agents hunted each other in shadowy alleys, smoky cafes, and even inside the safety of their own embassies. One of the earliest and most shocking cases was that of Oleg Penkovsky, a high-ranking Soviet colonel who began secretly passing critical military secrets to the CIA and Britain's MI6. The intelligence he provided was so valuable, it helped President Kennedy navigate the treacherous Cuban Missile Crisis, possibly pulling the world back from the brink of nuclear war. But betrayal always has a price. In 1963, the KGB finally caught him. His punishment was brutal. According to some accounts, he was executed by being burned alive in a furnace. The message was sent, loud and clear. In this war, nobody just walks away. While spies played their deadly games on the streets, another battle was unfolding. A war for hearts and minds. The CIA secretly funded Hollywood movies, influential magazines, and even abstract art exhibitions, all designed to showcase the glamour and freedom of the West. Meanwhile, the KGB launched its own disinformation campaigns. They expertly planted fake stories in newspapers across Europe, hoping to shatter trust in Western governments. One of the KGB's most infamous plots was Operation Infection. It was a masterfully crafted lie that spread the false claim that the CIA had actually created the HIV virus in a lab. It was a vicious piece of fake news that took decades to fully die out. Both sides were realizing something chilling. Controlling information, controlling what people believed to be true, could be far more powerful than controlling armies. But the most dangerous part of this shadow war was not the spy gadgets or the poison pens. It was trust. And what happens when that trust shatters? In the 1980s, the CIA suffered one of its darkest and most devastating betrayals. A senior officer, a man named Aldrich Ames, began selling America's deepest secrets to the KGB. He did it for nearly a decade. Because of him, dozens of CIA assets, spies working inside the Soviet Union, were rounded up and executed. But the KGB wasn't immune to traitors. Oleg Gordievsky, a high-ranking KGB officer stationed in London, was secretly spying for Britain's MI6. He fed vital intelligence about Soviet plans directly to the West. When Moscow finally discovered his double life, he made a daring escape, hidden in the trunk of a diplomatic car, and smuggled across the Finnish border to safety. These men weren't simple heroes or villains. They were pawns in a much larger, deadlier game, where one wrong move didn't just mean losing, it meant death. By the late 1970s and 80s, this hidden war went digital. The CIA launched sophisticated spy satellites, intercepting Soviet communications and using advanced surveillance to watch their every move from the sky. The KGB, on the other hand, excelled at human intelligence and infiltration. They embedded spies deep inside American defense programs and even within NASA itself. One of their proudest accomplishments? Stealing the technical blueprints for the American space shuttle. It was definitive proof that the race for space was never just about science. It was about espionage. When the Soviet Union finally collapsed in 1991, the KGB officially fell with it. On the surface, the CIA had won, or so it seemed. But what really ended was only a single chapter in a much longer story. The ghosts of that shadow conflict didn't just vanish, they evolved. Former KGB officers, including a then-unknown agent named Vladimir Putin, would later rise to power. They took the lessons they learned in the shadows and used them to shape a new kind of warfare. Global cyber espionage, sophisticated disinformation campaigns, and political manipulation on a scale never seen before. The Cold War never truly ended. It just changed its form. It moved online. For decades, the fate of the entire world hung on invisible threads, pulled by men whose names we will never truly know. The CIA and the KGB may have fought their battles in silence, far from the public eye. But their echoes, their actions, and their methods still shape the world we live in today, because the real war was never about guns or bombs. It was, and still is, about the control of truth. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's hidden conflicts. See you in the next one.